G'day, it's Jay, and welcome back to the Derriere Farms ongoing coverage of Silver Run Forest and how well or how to make money on the map, basically. And in today's episode, we're going to look at trees, the different types, which are the most profitable, what the optimal cut length is, because Giants tells us that their trees vary in value depending on the length and the straightness of the board you cut. And we're also going to look at tree planting and what trees grow the quickest, because, well, if there is a significant amount of difference in time between tree A and tree B in terms of growth time, is it worth going with tree A that grows a lot quicker, let's say, than tree B that doesn't? Because I'm just throwing this out there hypothetically. Like I said, if the amount of time is significant, i.e., hypothetically, let's say 6 months, that means over a period of time you could grow, well, significantly more of tree A than you can of tree B, and therefore your return on investment is a lot quicker. However, and I haven't grown trees yet, so this is going to be new. However, if the growth time is roughly equal, then it boils down to purely which tree brings you in the most amount at the sawmill. Now, we have already looked at productions, and really, productions, it doesn't matter, because all they care about once you own them is how much lumber you bring them, how many liters of wood, basically. And then that wood just gets turned into productions. However, if you don't have productions, or you are more interested in the forestry side and you want to sell to the sawmill or sawmills, then yes, it's definitely worth looking at which tree is the most profitable. So, let's get started so we can look at planting, because I want to get that out of the way. Now, there are two different ways of planting trees in the game. One is the base game method using a tractor and the PL75 with a pallet of trees on it. As you can see, I've already planted a couple. These are just regular pine trees. I'm going to plant some pine trees the other way as well, because these are obviously fairly tall already, and the trees that are planted with this planter, as you can see, are very short. So my curiosity question is, does the tree planter give you an advantage in terms of the fact that you're already planting a decent sized sapling versus tiny saplings? Now, I'm just going to preface that by saying it's not really a fair test, because I did try it, even with the Platinum Edition enabled on Obeilera, my test map, and by buying the pallets for the PL75, which we just looked at, you can't buy the two new types of trees. You can only buy existing game types of trees for that planter. Alright, let's hop in and we'll load up. Like I said, I've already planted some ponderosa pine just to get started. I planted some lodgepole pines, and just to show you how to do it, I'm going to use this lovely machine here, this Volvo that is new with the Platinum DLC, and I am going to plant some regular pines and some spruce. And again, this is just to see the growth time. So, you find this, well, the header for this, the planting device, is found under forestry equipment, just like the base game planting equipment is, wherever it is. Here it is. And here is the planter. it will cost you $67,500 to buy. It's a hell of a lot cheaper to lease. So I would recommend that. And to go with that, you need one of the two Volvo excavators. This one is quite a bit cheaper, $260,000 versus $365,000. In terms of tree planting, they both handle the planting no problem, so there really is no advantage to going with one or the other. It really only makes a difference in terms of size and weight once you start using one of these two machines to cut down trees. Obviously, the bigger, this one at 41 tons versus 28 tons, is not going to tip or move around when you're cutting a tree down. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the planter and start it up. I'll open the menu. So to fill the tool, and we're not going to put very many in, you just press R like you would for anything else to refill. I think 19 trees is plenty. Once you've got the trees loaded, you can leave the header in. It pretty much has to be touching the ground. But you'll see you have an option to press X to plant a tree. I'm just going to go in a straight line here. And I'm going to plant a couple of trees. As the pallet for this comes with 240 saplings, Giants was thinking ahead, and they give you the option to unload by pressing I like you would to unload anything else. With the other tree planter, once you've loaded it with saplings, you're stuck with those saplings until you've planted them all. That's another disadvantage to it. The other advantage to this one is, obviously the other one is purely on how you drive it. This one you can move your left and right. We're too close. No, we're not too close. You can move left and right the header, and just mess that up. There we go. And you can go back. So you can either just drive in a straight line, or it's really handy when you're in a wooded area that you want to fill out, because you just move the header around. You can work around existing trees very easily. There we go, we're unloaded. So that's all there is to tree planting. I'm just going to plant my next row of trees, and then we will look at tree types. I will be right back. Oh, and in case you were wondering, yeah, I got rid of all the grass just because it makes these tiny little saplings easier to see without grass around. Because I do want to be able to see when they start growing and how quickly they grow. And I have seen a couple of other videos where people have done some tree planting, and especially when you get into the forested areas, it's very hard to see these saplings. Alright, before I go any further, if you are new to the channel or new to the game and you want to learn more about the game mechanics and how things work, definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I do regular how-to videos. So if you're subscribed and you have the notification bell on, you won't miss a video. And also, please remember to like or dislike the video, whether you found it helpful or not, because it really does help the YouTube algorithm out as far as the channel goes. Alright, so here we are at the sawmill, and I did a little bit, I won't say a little bit of trickery. I was, for all intents and purposes, just curious what the difference was. So I took a fully grown lodgepole pine and a fully grown ponderosa pine. I cut them down, I stripped off all the excess wood just like the trimmer would, And yeah, it's a bit of cheap, but using super strength, I carried them over. All right, so here we have. Do I need to turn on? We have the Ponderosa pine. It is 34.1 meters. It was 36.1 meters before I trimmed it, and that got rid of the tip. And it weighs 3.3 tons. This one, you can see it's got a slightly thicker tip of what's left, and it weighs 3.7 tons. So right off the bat, I'm guessing there is going to be a, difference in price. This one being the most profitable, and this one being slightly less profitable. All right, let me make sure I'm lined up here. Press R to sell wood. So $3,839 for a fully grown tree. So 3,839. And the lodgepole pine is $4,139. So it's worth significantly more. Again, like I said, mainly because it's a slightly thicker tree and it's got a slightly longer tip to it. Well, not necessarily slightly longer, slightly thicker tip to it. Yeah, that's what she said. Now, before we actually get into the values of the different cut lengths, one thing to bear in mind is the equipment you are using to transport your logs to the sawmill. The little four-wheeler, the one you start off with, and the same with these types of logging trailers, the ones with the crane, you can get away with 6 meters, 8 meters you're pushing it. And let's go back, and it's the same with this trailer here, which is new, the Schwarzenmuller timber trailer at $40,000. You might as well pay the extra $2,500 and get the full length one, by the way. Anyway, this one seems to, well, it'll take anywhere from obviously the smaller size up to 8, maybe 10 meters, but I'll go into why 10 meters isn't ideal in a second. These trailers are a little bit longer. They will take 12-meter logs. These are the Fiegel comes base game, and the other one is new with the Platinum DLC. Like I said, they'll take 12, maybe a little bit longer if you've got some overhang, but you probably don't want to go any longer than 8 meters, and we'll go into that when I get into the pricing. Okay, so here we are at the sawmill, and we have 2 fully grown lodgepole pines cut down from their 32, 36 meters. They cut down into 6 meter lengths, and I've included the tips. Some people do, some people don't. I guess it's all preference. Some people turn them into wood chips, depending on your storage space. So, one fully grown tree gave us $4,100. 2 fully grown trees should give us $8,000. Well, $8,200. Let's see how that holds up. And I'm going to undo the straps just because I don't want to take the risk of something not selling and giving me an inaccurate number. So let's go ahead. $16,606. So you can see there is a huge advantage to cutting your trees to 6 meter lengths. Like I said, most of the equipment in the game is designed for 6, maybe 8 meters. But I'll give you the difference in price. So 6 meter I found to be optimal. By going up to 8 meters, I got an extra $200 a load. And by going up to 10 meters, I only got an extra, well, 300 over the 6 meters, but I only got $100 extra over the 8 meters. Once I went over 10 meters, I got into the 12 and the 15. I was actually getting less than I was for the 6 meter lengths by $200 to $300. I didn't, as soon as I realized I was losing money, I didn't go any further, so I didn't try to give you a full readout of the lengths. But as you can see, six, 8, and if you really want to, 10 meters are going to be your optimum. Now, as I said, most of the equipment, this trailer is designed to hold 12 meter logs. It was working earlier and I can't get it to work now. I use my measuring tool or the measuring mod. There must be a conflict with another mod I just downloaded because it's no longer working. But yeah, this is just over 12 meters, so it will ideally hold 2 sets of 6 meter logs. And again, that is what I found when I did the log collection missions, was those logs, Giants have pre-cut when they give you the mission, those are 6 meters in length. So hopefully that gives you a rough idea of what lengths to cut your trees at and what you're going to make the most money. Like I said, I found that a significant difference in price by going with 6 and 8 meter logs. I mean, there's no point in going with 2 fully grown trees. And they're just hard to move around. Alright, with that said, what I'm going to do, we're in August right now. I'm going to skip ahead a couple of months and we're going to see how long, we'll very quickly look each month to see how our trees are growing. So just for reference, very quickly, you can barely see anything. So we're in August and we'll go from there. Here we are, September, 1 month later, and there is absolutely no discernible growth on any of the trees. Oh, and before anyone asks me, I did try a regular pine and a spruce tree, a fully grown spruce tree, which is also 35 meters tall, and the spruce tree only paid me $1,500. So its mass was about half of the lodgepole pine or the ponderosa pine. So stick with those two. Again, if you're on base game map, you have no choice. Okay, let's skip ahead till we'll go to December and we'll see what we have. Okay, as I said, December, still, I'll turn the flashlight on, really no discernible growth. So let's see what happens. Alright, January. We have some growth now. And it went from, I don't know if it's a bug in the game, it went from no discernible growth to they're actually pretty tall now. My stone pine, which are these, are not growing. So I don't know if that's a bug or that's not. These two still haven't really grown, and these ones haven't the pine have grown just enough, but not enough that there is an obstruction when you try and run through them, like there is with the lodgepole pine. I mean, that's a significant difference, 11.6 meters versus nothing on the regular pine and nothing on the spruce. So 11.6 and 6.7 for the ponderosa pine. Alright. Okay, here we are in April. There's definitely been a little bit more growth, but not much. 6.7 meters versus 11.6 meters. So the lodgepole definitely grow quicker, but by how much I'm not sure. And the rest, the spruce and the regular pine, they're just not doing anything. So let's come back. We're in April now. We'll come back in August and we'll check after a full year. Okay, I know I said I'd come back in a year, June, July, August. Still have 2 months, but wow, boom, all of a sudden out of the blue, my stone pines have started to grow. Ponderosa pine is still growing nicely. Lodgepole pines are definitely growing very well. Now my spruce have suddenly sprung up, but my pines still aren't doing too well. So we'll see in a year. Alright, here we are in October. They actually, my lodgepole pines at 36.3 meters, which is, I believe, the maximum length I could find anywhere else on the map. They hit that last month, so I'm going to give it another month because the game does seem to skip. But we planted them in August, so September, let's say 12, 13 months. And we'll see how long it takes the lodgepole pines to get to the maximum height. They get to about 35, 36 meters as well. Alright, here we are. We're in January. And finally, my ponderosa, or my lodgepole pines, ponderosa pines are 35 points, so they're 36 meters. That's as big as they're going to get. And the lodgepole pines are 36.3, and they haven't changed since October. So October, November, December, January. So it takes an extra 3 to 4 months. And I'm saying October because I'm sure they were ready in September, but I gave them an extra month just to check. So there's a 4-month difference in growth time. The lodgepole pines definitely grow the fastest. The ponderosa pine second fastest. Now we know from the testing earlier the lodgepole pine A yields more and B pays more. So as far as your reforestation projects go, you are definitely better off with the lodgepole pine. I mean, yeah, you might want to mix it up a little bit. And then the regular pines, well, they're not even high. Well, 15 meters. They got a long ways to go too. So, and my spruce, well, let's have a quick, where are my spruce? Let's have a quick run over, and these aren't even close to being ready either. I can tell you by the thickness at the base. So they have another couple of months. And according to Giant's chart from the base game, it takes 2 years to grow spruce and the pines. Okay, and one final, well, this is kind of a cheat if you really want, and you're short of lumber. We know that the lodgepole pine is the quickest and the best yielding. Even at the full length we sold it at, it came in at 4,100. That was without trimming it down. If you want to do what Giants did, which was place them on the map, just like you're doing the map. Lodgepole pine. Here we are. Lodgepole. The price is $2,700. So you can make up to 4,000. So you can make, well, actually, if you cut it to the right length, you can make even more. But just planting it for $2,700, chopping it down, cutting into 6-meter lengths, you're going to make a profit. So theoretically, you don't need to wait. You can just plant and still make a profit using the landscaping tool. However, if you're like me, that's not how you play. You're going to want to grow your own trees and harvest them. Anyway, hope you found this video useful. Please give it a like if you did. And don't forget to subscribe. And we will see you in the next one when we look at containers. Take care, Jay.